Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel and the podcast. It is Monday, December 16th, and we have a a very nice size 7-game NBA slate to break down for you today. Before we get into it, welcome. My name is Sal Vetri. If you're indeed new here, I cover daily fantasy sports, and a variety of different avenues. So the NFL every single day, and here, NBA every single day, or at least that I can. NFL Sundays get a little bit difficult. I have projections every single day for these games and my player pools, interest pools over on my Patreon account. That is linked up down below. You can check that out if you are interested. And also, I have NFL content over there as well. You have my Instagram, my social medias, Twitter, right? At SalVetriDFS on Twitter. Instagram SalVetri, where if we get 30 more subscribers as I shoot this, we'll get to 17,000 flat, and I will release my projections for free today via my Instagram story, and I'll let you know when that happens. So if it happens today, 30 more subscribers, say at 5 o'clock p.m., they'll be out for the rest of the day. If it's 6, they'll be out for the rest of the day. So the quicker we get there, the better. And another incentive to just hit the subscribe button over here on both the podcast and the YouTube channel. If you hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel and the notification bell, and you leave a comment down below, who's your favorite play in the 5 and 6K range? Any position, 5,000 and 6,000 range. What one player stands out to you the most in that $1,000 price tier, really $2,000 to work through there? What is your favorite player? Let me know. Leave a Twitter handle or a PayPal, some way for me to get to. A $25 PayPal will be awarded to somebody down below who hits the notification bell and is subscribed to the YouTube channel. I will be giving that out below and reach out to somebody down below. So let me know that and get you entered into the contest. Again, I have Patreon exclusive content linked up down below for my NBA projections tonight, that if we hit that $17,000 subscriber mark, I will release via my Instagram story, so be sure to check me out there as well. Lots of incentives here, lots of ways to help me grow, but at the same time give back to the community via these giveaways and via free content giveaways. So let's get into it as we always do, starting with the injury news for today's 7-game slate. As of right now when I record this, always check back in for the injury news for the NFL. But as of 6:30, or NBA, 6:30 in the morning in Chicago, Daniel Gafford is going to be questionable with a hamstring. Not major news there, but he was seeing, actually it is somewhat major news here. So if Gafford does miss, you probably see Lauri Markkanen seeing more center minutes or backup center minutes. Maybe bumps his minutes to the mid-30s. He's been seeing 30s as of late. Chandler Hutchinson is going to be doubtful with the shoulder injury. Continue to see more Chris Dunn in the starting rotation. Continue to see Thad Young take over as the primary 3 on this team. Luka Doncic, the big news in Dallas, 11,900s. He's going to be out for at least a few weeks. The gruesome ankle injury, those high ankle sprains, whatever it might be, they usually look worse than they are. So hopefully he'll be back in a month and a half. He's going to be out with an ankle. Look, this impacts the whole team. It impacts Jalen Brunson, who should take over immediately. DeLon Wright, who should see more run. Kristaps Porzingis usage and overall production goes up. Every single person is going to see an increase in usage. Who else is on this team? So you still have Seth Curry, right? All these guys. Seth Curry is going to be a sneaky one at $4,000 today. All these guys are going to be in play for me. When you lose a guy like Luka, who's averaging close to 1.8 fantasy points per minute, who's averaging damn near 40% usage, 40% assist rate, and leading his team in rebounding, everybody sees a bump. Even you could argue Dorian Finney-Smith sees a bump today. So Luka Doncic being out puts the entire Dallas Mavericks team in their first game without him, so question marks around if the pricing is correct or not, puts the entire team in play for me today. Andre Drummond is questionable with his eye. I have here in the notes, avocado. When he was in Mexico City 2 games ago, he ate an avocado in that promotional game there, and he ended up having a swollen eye, and now it's still bothering him. So in Detroit today, he's questionable in a good matchup. Blake Griffin, who got hurt in the last one, tweaked his knee injury, is also questionable. If Blake does play, he's only 5,900, so keep that in mind for a guy with close to 30% usage. Would be one of the best spots on the slate. Grayson Allen at 3,400 is out for Memphis today with an ankle injury. No major news there. Goran Dragic and Justice Winslow in Miami will continue to miss. Dragic with the groin, Justice Winslow with the back. You'll still get Kendrick Nunn starting at the point guard position, and more Tyler Hero off the bench. For OKC, Terrence Ferguson is questionable with a hip. He might actually return today, which would hurt Abdul Nadar's 30 minutes per game right now that he's getting around the 3. Nothing major there. Devin Booker in Phoenix, the only injury questionable with a forearm. This is impactful. It makes Ricky Rubio a much better play if Devin Booker misses. Obviously, it makes guys like Kelly Oubre see a lot more usage and overall production. Nasir Little is questionable with a back for Portland. No major news there. It doesn't really impact much since Carmelo Anthony is now with Portland. Nasir Little does not have much of a role. Lonnie Walker for San Antonio. This would maybe impact some of the secondary forwards here, but nothing major. It's a $3,000, $3,800 player questionable with a knee injury in Lonnie Walker. Shooting guard, small forward eligible. I don't think it impacts too much for the slate. Fred VanVleet is doubtful today. This does help Norman Powell, OG Anunoby, Kyle Lowry, all these guys getting more play with this knee injury for Fred VanVleet. And then for Washington, two notes here. Mo Wagner was originally uncertain to play and doubtful. Now he's officially ruled out with an ankle injury. It's going to help Rui Hachimura see a lot more minutes. Jan Mahimi. So all these guys will see more minutes at the center, but no Mo Wagner, and also no Thomas Bryant. Isaiah Thomas is questionable with a calf. He's 4,800. If he plays, he's in a nice spot. If he does, it will impact Troy Brown. It will impact Ish Smith. Ish Smith will continue to start if he does not play. Let's get into the target offense sheet here. We have all the games, which we rarely do when I do these, but good to see we have all the games. So Houston, as they usually do, has the highest total, 121.25 against today San Antonio. A nice pace up spot for San Antonio over 3 possessions. Houston about a neutral spot because San Antonio does actually play pretty fast. They're 10.5 point favorites. Everybody's priced where they should be. Harden's almost $13K. You have almost a $10,000 Russell Westbrook. $7,500 Clint Capella. It's hard to get to any of these guys. Maybe you take your stabs on PJ Tucker at 4,400. Will still play 35 minutes and be very low productive with all these guys healthy. Houston's just priced where they should be. They're efficiently priced. I'll probably take some stabs on the PJ Tuckers, the Daniel Houses of the world. But for the most part, I don't think I get to $13,000 Harden on this slate. I don't think I get to much of $10,000 Russell Westbrook on the slate, but I like the San Antonio side. I like $7,100 in a pace-up spot and a decent rebounding spot. LaMarcus Aldridge. I really, really like the price point you're getting on DeJounte Murray with his minutes limit seemingly gone since Pop said, we're probably going to let his minutes limit go away. He's going to play 30-plus minutes a game now. I'll take that here. It is a tough matchup against Houston without a doubt, but you're going to get 30-plus minutes out of a guy who plays on both ends of the court in terms of picking up your steals and blocks in DeJounte Murray, and then obviously just so productive at getting to the basket, picking up assists, rebounding, everything for this guard. He's very much so, it seems, a higher level of Lonzo Ball when this guy in DeJounte Murray is healthy for spurts that we've seen so far. So I do like Murray. I do like Marcus Aldridge from that game. Detroit and Washington. There's a lot of news here, right? We're waiting on Isaiah Thomas on the Washington side, and we're waiting on the bigs. Blake Griffin at 5,900 in a really good spot would be one of the best plays in the slate, even if Drummond plays, if Blake Griffin does play. If Drummond doesn't play and Blake Griffin plays, Blake Griffin's probably the best play on the slate at 5,900 power forward. He's going to project out for 35-plus points for me, right around there at 5,900. Clearly one of the best plays on the slate, projecting to 6+X. If Andre Drummond is in at 9,300, you have to prioritize him, but I think he's fine in this matchup. Look, they're down their top 2 centers in Mo Wagner and Thomas Bryant. It's a great spot for one of the best rebounding teams in the league, if not the best rebounder in the league, Andre Drummond. So, yeah, keep an eye on if these guys are in, and if they're out, even better, right? You'll have Christian Wood step up and see a lot more run behind both Griffin and Drummond. You saw Thon McCurr start the last game, but Christian Wood will still see a lot of time. The more time he sees, the better. He's the best fantasy point per minute producer. Honestly, maybe even on this team, not named Andre Drummond, even better than Blake Griffin potentially, if he's out there on a per minute basis, just what he does for fantasy purposes, not real life. And then Markieff Morris would also be benefiting a little bit. So I think either way, Detroit's going to have startable pieces today at the bigs, whether it's Drummond or Griffin, or whether it's Markieff Morris and really Christian Wood, the main piece. So I'm probably going to be starting a Detroit big today. No matter what, they're 5-point favorites with a nice game team implied total 116.75. They get a 4-possession bump today, 4 possessions in pace because they face Washington. Washington losing about 1.7 possessions today because of Detroit's slower pace, below average. So yeah, that's a spot that I really like. So keep an eye. The biggest news on this slate for me right now is these Detroit bigs and which ones that I'm actually just going to end up playing. On the last game on the slate is actually pretty interesting. We'll touch on this one. A 228.5 game total here is tied for the second highest in the slate with Detroit and Washington, only behind that Houston and San Antonio game. But Phoenix comes in as a 0.5-point favorite, so pretty much a pick 'em. I haven't seen a 0.5-point favorite, and I don't know how long. 114.5 team implied total for Phoenix. A 114 team implied total for the Portland side of this. Yeah, Phoenix, we're waiting on Devin Booker. Some other big news here. If Booker's in at his price point, I probably don't have a ton of interest, but I do have a lot of interest in Ricky Rubio. If indeed you get no Booker, I'll have a lot more interest in Kelly Oubre, who should take on some more point guard responsibilities if Booker misses. Those are nice spots. The other big piece is Aron Baynes. He's been on this minutes limit, played 21. The minutes came up a little bit in the last game. If they tell us that Aron Baynes will be off the minutes limit or it increases to 25, 26, the guy's in the 4K range now in a surely not the greatest of matchups in the world against this Portland team in Hassan Whiteside, but it's a little bit better, right? Carmelo Anthony also down there banging around, so I think it is a really good spot for Aron Baynes if you get any news that he's going to play more than even 24 minutes tonight. And if you get the full 28 to 30, yeah, it's a smash spot. On the Portland side, Carmelo Anthony at 6,000 in this matchup seems okay, not a priority. Hassan Whiteside in the 8K range still, not a priority when he's standing next to Pascal Siakam and standing next to Bam Adebayo in probably a better matchup here. So actually, his matchup might be even better. So Hassan Whiteside at 8,100 is more of a secondary interest who has a lot of upside, of course, today. Damian Lillard's fairly priced. Not a lot stands out from Portland. I think it's the bigs. I'll get that secondary interest in terms of Carmelo and Hassan Whiteside, but really a lot of interest coming in on Phoenix, depending on if Booker's in or out. But either way, I'll have a lot of interest in a guy named Aron Baynes. We already talked about Dallas to an extent in terms of their whole team being on the table today. Really nice spot for Kristaps Porzingis and a nice spot for whoever is going to fill in, probably Jalen Brunson plus Seth Curry plus DeLon Wright, all these guys and all of them, for the most part, at favorable price points. You also have Tim Hardaway Jr., all those guys filling in for what will be Luka Doncic missing a couple weeks. So let's get into the early interest, and we can touch on those. Filtering it now, I think I have it filtered by cheapest to most expensive. Let's filter it to most expensive to cheapest here. Let me zoom out a little bit for the people at home on the podcast. Again, if you're watching to this point, hit that 5-star rate and review on the podcast, and hitting the subscribe button helps a lot. And then also, if you can come over to YouTube, if you're here right now, hitting the subscribe button and notification bell, it does help a lot. I will link up right now above my Patreon exclusive content if you want to check that out. And again, who's your favorite player in the 5 and 6K range on this slate? Hit the quick comments right now. Leave your Twitter handle, a PayPal. Somebody will win tonight. Favorite player, let me know. You must be a subscriber with the notification bell active. If you want to get this, if you want to enter this on the podcast version, just leave a 5-star rating and review. Leave a review with the same question or answer to that question with a way for me to contact you. And that will count actually if you go on the audio version as 3 entries. 3 entries into the raffle instead of 1 over here on YouTube. You could do both and get 4 if you want. The more the better. Andre Drummond at 9,300. I already said if he's active, he's a yellow by his name. But if he's active, I like him in this nice rebounding spot. A guy who's going to play 34 minutes as long as he's fully healthy with damn near 24% usage, has a higher assist rate, one of the best rebounders in the entire league, if not the best, and a pace-up spot here against Washington. A lot of things check out there. Drummond should be 10K today if he plays, but he's not. So good spot for him. Porzingis, 7,800, drops 50 in the first game where Luka Doncic gets injured. Now he gets Milwaukee, a tougher matchup, but a guy who was seeing a 25% usage rate, even with Luka out there, he's probably going to get close to 30%. I don't know how much more it can come up, but I would imagine the offense has to play through him instead of Jalen Brunson, right, or through Tim Hardaway Jr. So 31, 32 minutes per game for Porzingis continues to come up as well. I like this spot in an above-average pace spot. Kyle Lowry at 7,700. Maybe not as much of a priority around Kristaps Porzingis, but no, Fred VanVleet still. He's going to get Cleveland. The matchup against Colin Sexton and Darius Garland and Cedi Osman for most of this game is very favorable for a guy who will play 37-plus minutes per game on the season. I do like Kyle Lowry. No, Fred VanVleet will actually reduce his assist percentage a little bit, but increases overall usage, so his drive attempts, his shot attempts, I'll take that. Zach LaVine at 7,500 continues to play big minutes, around 35 per game right now over the last couple of weeks, 30% plus usage it's now up to, so this is an elite usage guard. Elite usage, elite shot attempts as of late. You're getting 20-plus shots out of LaVine now since he's playing more minutes instead of 15. And he's only 7,500. I say only, yes, only, because this guy's taking more shots with elite usage and the assist rate is coming up. I do like him. Already talked about LaMarcus Aldridge in a beneficial spot against Houston. Nice pace-up spot for the San Antonio side. Rui Hachimura, coming off of a bad game. You get a price discount here of 6,400, and this becomes an even better spot if Drummond is out. If Drummond and or Griffin are out, you're getting Rui in a much better rebounding spot. The guy is just going to be forced to play 35-plus minutes with no Mo Wagner, no Thomas Bryant still. He might even play 38 minutes, and it could potentially be a really good spot. At 6,400, give me all that usage in the world for Rui. Yes, he's going to have dud games, but if he's going to get a good matchup, if Drummond is out, even if he's in, I'll still like him. But if Drummond's going to be out, it's almost a put Rui in, start my lineup, put Christian Wood in, start my lineup from there. DeJounte Murray at 6,100, yeah, I like it too much. If he plays 30-plus minutes, it's hard to get away from the usage. The point-per-minute production will surely come down because he's been playing in shorter bursts, so it's just more of a priority to get him involved in the offense, and he has more energy in those 20 minutes, similar to what you saw out of Anthony Davis, averaging over 2 fantasy points per minute last year when he was having his 20-minute limit per game, 25-minute limit per game, and seamlessly dropping 50 a game. So now you have Murray at 6,100. I still do like him. Kendrick Nunn at 6,000. I would much rather have Murray. I would much rather take shots maybe even on Tim Hardaway Jr. just because he's priced at a spot where I don't know how much more he can do. Now, if he goes out there and plays 40 minutes like he did a couple of nights ago with all the Miami starters, yeah, it'll be pretty easy for Kendrick Nunn to drop 38 to 45 fantasy points. But if he plays his normal 31, 32 minutes a game, it's more times than not at 6,000. He'll be more of a cashier type play, hit you your 28 to 32 points, and just get you there. The ceiling on him is just capped because of Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler on his own team. But again, if you get those increased minutes, it is a nice spot. I would prefer DeJounte Murray. Tim Hardaway Jr. at 5,800. Just a guy who I think sees the biggest bump initially. Him and Jalen Brunson with Luka out. Already seeing big minutes around 30. Might have to go up to 35 now. Might take on more point guard responsibilities. So at 5,800, he's priced for the potential role he could have. But if the role is even bigger than we're expecting, he's way underpriced. Probably $1,000 underpriced. Tristan Thompson, more of a cash play for me. Tough matchup against Toronto, tough rebounding spot, especially with Ibaka playing just so well out there for them in short 20, 22-minute spurts. But Marc Gasol has been playing a lot better as of late. You're going to just get 32, 31 stable minutes out of Thompson, 20% usage rate this year is good for a big. The rebounding rate is there as well. So $5,600 for Thompson. I think it's okay. It's just a tougher matchup. Probably not a priority for me. Norman Powell with no Fred VanVleet. He's going to play 30-plus minutes. He's going to see somewhere around like 30 fantasy points a night. And then he'll have nights where he pops off like in the last one for 37. Somewhere he only gets you 28. But at $5,500, He's a shooting guard, small forward eligible guy who is seeing an increase to his role, and I don't think he's yet priced for it. Jalen Brunson at 5,500. I would prefer Tim Hardaway Jr., but again, no Luka, point guard, shooting guard eligible. Jalen Brunson, if he starts at the point guard position tonight, it's a really nice spot for him filling in. Troy Brown has a yellow by him. I don't think he has as nice of a role if Isaiah Thomas plays today, but Troy Brown at 5,000 has been seeing the minutes as of late. The usage is coming up. The shot attempts are coming up. I would take a shot on that if there's no Isaiah Thomas. OG Anunoby at 4,900, similar just analysis as Norman Powell. He's even cheaper now. He's not going to be as efficient with his minutes, but he'll have really peak and spike shooting nights, and he'll also see more minutes probably than Norman Powell. He'll see the 35-minute range way more than Norman Powell will, so I do like OG Anunoby tonight. Aron Baynes at 4,800. Again, if you see the minutes limit get lifted here, it's just a smash spot if he sees 30 minutes at that price point. Chris Dunn at 4,700 continues to start. Small forward eligible as a point guard is just so hard to find. Even if Zach LaVine's taking over a lot of these point guard roles, you're going to get Chris Dunn at 4,700 paying off that tag more times than not if he plays around 30 minutes. And if he has one of those spike 3 steals in a block game, because he's a really, really good defender, a lethal, dangerous defender when you're going up against him, yeah, I like that a lot. And SGA will turn the ball over. Christian Wood at 4,500. If you get no Blake or no Drummond, that's a good spot for him. I like him. He would be a priority for me. Seth Curry at 4,000 is worth a gamble here. I think he plays 25 minutes a night. He just has to. You're replacing 35 minutes of Luka with somebody off the bench. I think it's going to be Seth Curry and probably some DeLon Wright. Markieff Morris, same analysis as Christian Wood. I prioritize Christian Wood ahead of Markieff Morris. If Blake Griffin is in, I have no interest in Morris. If Blake Griffin is out and Drummond is out, I have a lot more interest in Morris. And then DeLon Wright, talked about him a couple of times. I was playing about 20, 21 minutes per game. I think that number probably stays around there or comes up even to the 30-minute range potentially, depending on what the starting lineup news looks like. I'll also add Blake Griffin to this list. I didn't put him on here, but $5,900 Blake Griffin. If he starts, I don't care if Drummond is in or out, in this matchup against Washington, he would be a priority at $5,900. So that's where I'm at right now. I will leave you with the target offense sheet right here. I'll blow it up a little bit if you want to take a screenshot. This will also be attached in the projections over on Patreon. Again, linked up down below. Follow me on Instagram. I will release the NBA projections today for free if we hit 17,000 subscribers. So we're only a few away, and I'll release those via my Instagram story, so you can follow me over there. And then also, if you want to, one final time, get into a contest for $25 tonight. Let me know down below in the comments, who do you think is the best play between 5,000 and 6,000? I will pick one person randomly. You have to be a subscriber with the notification bell activated. If you want to get into this, if you're listening on the audio version, hit the subscribe button on your podcast platform, and then just go to the section where you can leave a review. You'll actually get 3 entries if you do that way and answer the same question. Who do you think is the best player between the 5 and 6K range on this 7-game slate? Leave a Twitter or a PayPal or some way for me to contact the winner. Thank you so much. I appreciate you tuning in. You all freaking rock. Have a great start to your week. Great start to your Monday. Peace out, gang. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed that video. Above my head, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, I do ask you if you can please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a good amount to reach more people. You can also follow me on Twitter. That's over there. Right in the corner is my @SalVetriDFS Twitter. And then above, you'll find my Patreon link. You can click on that if you want more exclusive content for me. Or a video is going to pop up, so why don't you check that one out as well. I think it's going to be beneficial for you. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.